If you reheat food almost every day, I need you to hear this carefully. Some of the most common leftovers in the average kitchen may be adding more stress to your body than people realize, especially when they are browned again, crisped again, or heated over and over until they taste better. And one of the biggest concerns is not just weight gain or heartburn. It is the quiet buildup of risk over time, including concerns researchers have raised around pancreatic cancer risk. That sounds frightening, I know. But stay with me, because this is not about panic. It is about knowing what many people miss, and learning a few simple habits that can protect you and the people you love. The reason this matters so much is that the pancreas is one of those organs most people never think about until something goes wrong. It sits deep in the body, behind the stomach, helping with digestion and blood sugar control. When the pancreas is under stress, the signs can be easy to miss at first. That is why small daily choices matter more than many people think. Not because one reheated meal will suddenly cause a serious illness, but because habits repeated for years can quietly shape our health in the background. Now let me be very honest with you from the start. Reheated food does not mean cancer. Leftovers are not the enemy. In many homes, leftovers save money, save time, and make life easier. That is real life. The problem is not simple reheating by itself. The problem is what happens when certain foods are processed, fried, charred, heavily browned, or heated again and again at high temperature. That is where harmful compounds can build up, and that is where doctors start paying closer attention. And here is the part many people miss. Sometimes the food looks normal. It smells fine. It tastes even better the second day. But inside that food, the chemistry can change when it is pushed too far with heat. This is especially true with processed meats, fried foods, reused oils, and starchy foods cooked until deep brown. The body does not judge food the way the tongue does. Crispy and smoky may feel satisfying in the moment, but your cells may feel it very differently. If you care about aging well, staying independent, protecting your digestion, keeping your blood sugar steadier, and lowering hidden health risks where you can, this conversation is for you. And if you have ever stood in front of the fridge wondering whether last night's pizza, bacon, fries, or chicken is really okay to heat up again, you are not alone. That question matters more than people think. Before we go any deeper, tell me in the comments which food you reheat the most. Is it pizza, meat, potatoes, soup, fried takeout, or something else? And if you like simple health advice in plain English, subscribe and stay close to this channel. I'm Dr. Amelia Watson, and I make these videos to help you feel safer, clearer, and more confident in your daily choices, especially after 50, 60, and beyond. Let's start with the first food, because this one shows up in many kitchens almost without notice. Processed meat leftovers. I'm talking about bacon, sausage, ham, hot dogs, salami, deli meat, pepperoni, and similar meats that are cured, smoked, salted, or preserved. These foods are already more concerning than fresh meat because they are heavily processed. Then many people reheat them until they curl, darken, or turn crisp around the edges. That is where the concern grows. Why does that matter? Because processed meats may contain preservatives such as nitrates and nitrites, and when these meats are cooked hard at high heat, more harmful compounds can form. On top of that, major cancer organizations already advise limiting red and processed meat because diets high in these foods may increase pancreatic cancer risk. So if someone is eating bacon at breakfast, deli meat at lunch, and reheated sausage with dinner, the body is getting that same message again and again. I want you to picture a very common morning. A person wakes up tired, maybe a little stiff, maybe they did not sleep well. They want something quick. So they pull out leftover bacon or sausage and heat it in a skillet until it is extra crisp, because that feels satisfying. That seems small. But when that becomes a daily pattern for years, it is not small anymore. A better choice is to save processed meats for occasional use, keep portions modest, and when you do reheat them, avoid taking them to the point of deep browning or burning. The second food is one many people never think twice about: leftover pizza with processed meat on top. Pepperoni pizza, sausage pizza, meat lovers pizza. This is not just bread and cheese. It often combines processed meat, saturated fat, salt, and high-heat reheating all in one package. Then many people reheat it in the oven or air fryer until the edges of the meat darken and the cheese bubbles into brown spots. It tastes wonderful, I know. But the health picture is less comforting. Here is what makes pizza leftovers tricky. It is not only the toppings. It is the reheating style. Many people do not just warm pizza. They roast it again. They chase that crisp crust, the charred pepperoni cup, the browned cheese. That repeated high heat is where concern starts to build. If you love pizza, you do not need to live in fear. But you can make it gentler. Choose vegetable toppings more often. Go lighter on processed meats. Reheat it just until warm. A soft, warm slice is much kinder to the body than one pushed to the edge of burning. Now let's move to a food that feels healthy to many families, and sometimes it is. Leftover grilled or roasted meat. This includes chicken breast, steak, burgers, pork chops, turkey, kebabs, fish, and barbecue. The issue here is not that all cooked meat is bad. The issue is when meat is cooked at very high temperatures, especially until it is charred, blackened, or very well done. When that happens, chemicals can form that researchers have studied closely. The names are not important for you to memorize. What matters is the message. Burned meat is not a harmless upgrade. This is especially important because some research has linked well-done meat cooked at high temperatures with a higher risk of pancreatic cancer. So if dinner was grilled chicken yesterday, and today you put that same chicken in a hot pan, or oven until the edges get brown and tough, you may be increasing your exposure to the exact compounds doctors worry about. Warm is one thing. Charred is another. And here is a practical tip that can protect you right away. When reheating meat, think moisture, not crust. Add a spoon of broth, a little water, tomato sauce, or even a splash of olive oil if that fits your meal. Cover it. Use lower heat. Stop as soon as it is hot enough. If a piece has blackened edges, trim them off. Some people were raised to believe blackened means flavorful and safe. But blackened and safe are not the same thing. The fourth food may surprise you even more. Leftover potatoes, especially fries, hash browns, roasted potatoes, potato wedges, and crispy breakfast potatoes. Potatoes are such a comfort food, especially for older adults who want something filling, familiar, and easy on the stomach. But when starchy foods like potatoes are cooked at high heat until they turn dark brown, a chemical called acrylamide can form. The human evidence is not neat and simple, and I want to be honest about that. This is not a reason to fear every potato. But it is a very good reason not to keep cooking them darker and darker. This matters because leftover potatoes are often reheated in the worst possible way for this issue. People take already fried or already roasted potatoes and cook them again until they become extra crispy. Yesterday's fries become today's better fries. Yesterday's roasted potatoes become today's deep-browned breakfast side. That repeated crisping may not be the kindest choice for your long-term health. Golden is better than dark brown. Warm is better than overdone. And there is another layer to this, especially if you live with diabetes, pre-diabetes, or belly weight that has become harder to manage. Fried potato foods are not just a concern because of browning. They can also make blood sugar control harder increase cravings, and keep you stuck in a cycle of eating foods that are easy to overdo. So if you are trying to protect both your pancreas and your blood sugar, changing how you handle leftover potatoes can be a smart move in more ways than one. The fifth reheated food is fried takeout. Fried chicken, fried fish, onion rings, breaded shrimp, mozzarella sticks, egg rolls, fried snacks, and similar foods. These meals often go through intense heat once at the restaurant, sometimes in oil that has been used again and again. Then they get cooled, placed in the fridge, and heated a second time at home. The body is not just dealing with the food. It is dealing with the oil history too. When oil is heated repeatedly, it can break down and form harmful compounds. Then the food itself gets reheated again, often until it becomes even crispier. So what looks like a cheap and easy second meal may carry more stress than people realize. And this is where many people get trapped. They do not eat fried food every day fresh from a restaurant. But they may eat the leftovers for 2 more days. One takeout order can quietly become 3 rounds of the same heavy, high-heat meal. If you are someone who hates wasting food, I understand that completely. But saving food and saving your health do not have to fight each other. You can choose smaller portions of fried food in the first place. You can share it. You can pair it with something fresh and skip the reheating cycle. Or better yet, if you know there will be leftovers, choose grilled, baked, or steamed meals more often instead of deep-fried ones. Now there is one more category I really want you to watch, because it hides in plain sight. Large dishes that are reheated over and over. Casseroles, baked pasta, meatloaf, lasagna, breakfast bakes, and big pans of mixed leftovers. The problem is not the dish itself. The problem is repeated reheating. A large dish gets warmed for lunch, then cooled again, then warmed for dinner, then cooled again, then reheated the next day. Each round can dry it out more, brown the top more, and push meats, cheeses, and oils further than they need to go. This is where one of the smartest kitchen habits can make a huge difference. Divide leftovers into single portions while the food is still fresh. That way, you only reheat what you plan to eat once. You are not repeatedly heating the whole pan. This habit does 3 good things at the same time. It helps food safety, it protects texture, and it reduces the repeated heat exposure that many people never think about. This may be the most practical tip in this entire video, and it is one I wish more families knew. Now let's make this simple. What exactly should you do if you want to lower risk without becoming obsessive? First, reduce processed meats. Not necessarily to 0 forever, but enough that they stop being a daily habit. Second, when reheating meat, choose lower heat and add moisture. Third, avoid chasing crispiness, char, or dark color. Fourth, do not keep reheating the same large dish over and over. Fifth, be extra careful with fried leftovers and browned potato foods. These are not dramatic changes. They are small household choices that add up over time. I also want to talk briefly about what the body may be trying to tell you, because many viewers ask me when they should stop guessing and speak to a doctor. Please do not ignore ongoing upper belly pain, pain that moves into the back, yellow skin or eyes, unexplained weight loss, loss of appetite, greasy or pale stools, new trouble controlling blood sugar, or unusual tiredness that does not make sense. These signs can happen for many reasons, not only something serious, but they deserve proper medical attention. Quiet symptoms should not always stay quiet. And if you take medications, especially for diabetes, blood pressure, heart disease, or digestion, please do not use a video like this to make extreme diet changes overnight without checking in with your healthcare team. If you are older, living alone, caring for a spouse, or dealing with several conditions at once, sometimes the best plan is not the strictest plan. It is the safest plan that you can actually stick with. Let me give you a gentle example. Imagine a woman in her 70s who lives alone and is doing her best. She buys takeout twice a week because cooking every night feels tiring. She saves the leftovers because she is careful with money. She reheats the fried chicken in the oven, the fries in the air fryer, and the pizza the next day until it is extra crisp because she likes the texture. None of that sounds extreme. In fact, it sounds very normal. But normal does not always mean harmless. If she changes just 3 things by choosing grilled meals more often, portioning leftovers sooner, and reheating more gently, her kitchen becomes safer without becoming complicated. That is what I want for you. Not perfection. Not fear. Not guilt every time you open the fridge. Just better awareness. Better choices. Less hidden stress on the body. The truth is, many of the healthiest aging habits are not flashy at all. They are quiet. They happen in ordinary moments. When you decide not to crisp that bacon again. When you warm the chicken instead of blackening it. When you stop reheating the same casserole for the 3rd time. Those little choices are how health is protected in real life. So if you remember one sentence from today, let it be this. The biggest concern is not leftovers themselves. It is repeated high heat on the wrong kinds of foods. Processed meats, charred meats, dark browned potatoes, fried takeout, and dishes reheated again and again are the foods I would watch most carefully. You still deserve simple meals. You still deserve convenient meals. You still deserve food that tastes good and feels comforting. But you also deserve the truth. Sometimes the food habits that feel most familiar are the very ones worth updating. And the good news is, these are changes you can start today without buying anything special, without following a trend, and without turning your life upside down. Tonight, when you look into your fridge, pause for 1 extra second. Ask yourself, does this food need more heat, or just enough heat? Does it need to be crispy, or just safe and warm? Is there a gentler option? That one pause may sound small, but small pauses create better habits, and better habits can protect your future in ways you may never fully see. If this message helped you, tell me in the comments which reheated food you are going to handle differently this week. And if you have a loved one who lives on leftover pizza, bacon, fries, or fried takeout, send this to them with kindness. Sometimes the best health advice is not a miracle cure. It is just one caring reminder at the right time. Stay well, stay steady, and I'll be here to help you with the next simple step.